Chapter 21 Gengxin City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huge energy surged through Bibi Han, a potent force both warm and radiant, yet incredibly turbulent and violent. * The 10,000-year soul ring's energy is insane. Outwardly, Bibi Han's body and the soul ring were locked in a fierce struggle. In his mind, a raging unicorn, born of pure resentment, materialized, its eyes burning with the intent to kill. When absorbing animal soul rings, Bibi Han lacked a martial soul strong enough to suppress it, forcing him to rely solely on his physical strength. He'd considered plant soul beasts, but they were nowhere to be found. Despite the monumental risks of absorbing a 13,000-year-old animal spirit ring, Bibi Han chose to proceed, trusting in his martial spirit. Inside his mind, Bibi Han frantically used blue-silver grass to bind the unicorn, attempting to drain its strength, but each time, the beast broke free and charged. If he hadn't honed his reflexes through intense training, he would have been overwhelmed long ago. Damn it, at this rate, I'm going down. I can't use the clear sky hammer. Man, I wish I had a weapon. A weapon. Could I use blue-silver condensation? Bibi Han narrowly dodged another attack. Let's do it. Calling upon the blue-silver god, he focused his mental power, gathering the blue-silver grass vines at his feet and, with immense concentration, shaping them into a massive hammer. The hammer was slightly larger than a clear sky hammer without a soul ring, but because it was formed from plants within the spiritual world, it was relatively light. After all, spiritual power had its limits. Gripping the hammer, Bibi Han declared confidently, "The tide is turning, unicorn. Save yourself the pain and surrender. If I ascend to godhood, I'll help you be reborn." The unicorn roared and continued its relentless assault. Guess that's a no-go. Spinning the hammer, he activated the Eye of Truth. Instantly, the unicorn's movements slowed to half speed in his perception. This was another capability of the Eye of Truth he had just discovered. Bracing his core, Bibi Han unleashed his strength, swinging the hammer with all his might into the unicorn's right cheek. The unicorn shrieked as it was thrown backward. The blow wasn't enough to inflict significant damage to the resentment of the 10,000-year soul beast. Bibi Han followed up, throwing himself into another swing, targeting the throat. The unicorn screamed again, collapsing to the ground in a convulsive fit. While it was down, Bibi Han used blue-silver grass to condense two short knives, pinning the unicorn's front legs, then repeated the process, securing its hind legs with daggers. Picking up the hammer, he looked at the struggling unicorn, then thwack, 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 that he relentlessly hammered its head, striking countless times. The unicorn seemed to lose its strength. Bibi Han delivered a few more blows, and finally, the unicorn's resentment dissolved into a point of light and vanished. In the outside world, Bibi Han absorbed the soul ring. The bloody mist that constantly appeared on his body, finally calmed down. Although he was still in pain, he could hang on. After several hours, he finally succeeded. Bibi Han's cultivation reached level 33, and he gained the soul skill, blue-silver holy light, capable of targeting up to 3 people simultaneously. The soul skill's effect could instantly restore all external injuries. As long as bones weren't broken or flesh wasn't severed, it could be restored. He estimated that he could use it a total of 6 times, using his soul power. Nice, that's the power of a god-tier martial spirit. With that kind of healing and that many uses, you'd think I'd only be able to use my 3rd soul skill 3 times. I actually get 6, maybe thanks to my 2nd soul ring, the sacred tree. Alright, let's head to Gengxin City, Xiaogang. Shortly after, the two arrived at the gates of Gengxin City, assaulted by the thick, metallic odor of the blacksmith district. Grandpa Ghost, my mom probably didn't give them a heads up, right? Her Majesty the Pope wanted you to develop your independence, so no. Bibi Han breathed a sigh of relief. He remembered that the Bishop of Gengxin City was a lowlife in the original story. The thought of what that guy did made his blood boil. Walking into the city, Bibi Han frequently saw men with bare chests. Their skin was bronzed, and their hands were rough with calluses. Blacksmiths, without a doubt. People stared as he passed, mostly women, drawn in by Bibi Han's striking appearance. He had waist-length blue hair streaked with blonde, by Jijuan's handsome features, and relatively plain clothes he wore intentionally. Due to the blue-silver god martial spirit, he would unconsciously exude a natural aura, making people unconsciously like him. Suddenly, an older blacksmith stopped him. "Hey kid, traveling alone? Where are you headed?" The man's face was etched with kindness, his heart as honest as the forge. Although he had absorbed the 10,000-year soul ring and had grown 8 centimeters taller, he was still only 143 centimeters tall now, so he was indeed a child. Bibi Han didn't dismiss the blacksmith's question. In this world, there was no difference between high and low positions. In his previous life on Blue Star, without the sanitation workers, the cities wouldn't be clean and tidy. Without the delivery drivers, they would have no place to be leisurely at home. Bibi Han replied politely, "Uncle, I'm planning to visit the spirit hall." "Oh, I wouldn't advise that, son. Those spirit hall folks are no good," the blacksmith said, his eyes flashing with clear dislike. "What do you mean, uncle? Don't the people in the spirit hall manage the soul masters and keep them from harming us?" "Harm? They're the ones doing the most harm. They bully men and women, commit all sorts of atrocities. A few days ago, they snatched a beautiful young girl from out of town. God knows where she is now." Filled with indignation, the uncle looked apologetic. "I'm sorry, kid. I shouldn't have burdened you with this." "No, uncle, I should thank you for telling me." "Huh?" The blacksmith looked confused. "I'm going now, uncle." Bibi Han hurried away, stopping in a small alley. "Grandpa Ghost, you must have heard that." From the air, a voice came. "I did. I don't know if I can believe this. Too many families slander our spirit hall in the soul master world. Is it true? Why can't we just investigate it secretly?" Bibi Han's face hardened. He knew it was the truth, because more than 10 years later, they robbed it directly on the street, a brown-yellow building with a closed door and 5 swords on the spirit hall logo. The spirit main hall. The spirit hall receives soul masters every day, and the door has to be opened all day long. However, his door was closed, and there was no one around. Chapter 22 Treatment of Borers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As I approached the door, the blue-silver domain expanded, the blue-silver grass slowly snaking its way into the opening. After a quick look, Bibi Han scoffed, "Figures, nobody's here. They ain't exactly earning their Wuhun Palace paycheck, are they?" Then, she hopped through a side window into the main hall of the Wuhun Palace. Inside, it was dark and completely silent. Or rather, the building had some serious soundproofing. Around a corner, 2 great soul masters in Wuhun Palace uniforms were shooting the breeze. "Man, I'm so jealous of Bishop Miles and those guys. They're living it up, day and night. When's it gonna be our turn? Forget about it with our power level. I'm just gonna grab my paycheck next month and blow off some steam at the Red Lantern District. Yeah, the quality ain't the greatest, but it'll be fun to order up a few." "Having fun, are we?" A bone-chilling voice cut through the air. Out of nowhere, a kid materialized beside them. What was even more terrifying were the soul rings swirling around him, purple, and black. One of the great soul masters barely managed a word before vines of blue-silver grass tightened around their necks. The blue-silver emperor was quick, but the blue-silver god was even faster. Bibi Han clenched his hands, ready to crush the life out of them. They thrashed wildly, faces contorted in pain, turning purple. Bibi Han's grip wavered. He fought his inner demons, then finally released the blue-silver grass. The 2 men slumped to the ground, unconscious. "Grandpa Ghost, am I being a wimp? First time's always the hardest. Everyone goes through it." He thought back to his own experiences, realizing he only became a killer when pushed to the absolute brink. Continuing on, they reached a room that was clearly the largest and most opulent. No doubt, this was Miles's crib. "Don't be scared, little beauty. I'm gonna pamper you real good." "No, please, no. Let me go." A young girl's voice cried out, thick with tears. "Struggle all you want, the more you fight, the more I like it." A surge of energy, and the door burst open as Bibi Han kicked it in. "You scumbag, stop!" Bibi Han took in the scene. An iron cage held several women, barely clothed. Miles was yanking on the arm of a young girl, no older than Bibi Han himself, tearing at her clothes. "A little punk. What are those guys outside even doing? You've seen too much, kid. You ain't walking out of here alive." Pure malice radiated from Miles. Miles launched a casual attack, not putting much effort into it. After all, he was a soul saint, and this was just a kid. He figured it would be more than enough. The Haotian divine hammer swung with every ounce of Bibi Han's power. The two forces collided. Both Bibi Han and Miles staggered back several steps. "Haotian hammer. You're a remnant of the Clear Sky School. A kid with this kind of power? Capturing you would be a major win. Point 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black rings." 7 soul rings blazed around him, showcasing the full power of a soul saint. Just then, several of Miles's lackeys came rushing in. "Lord Miles, Clear Sky Hammer. Get him. Don't let him escape." "Got it." The lackeys activated their martial spirits and charged toward Bibi Han. Seeing the mob, Bibi Han calmly called out, "Grandpa Ghost." Boom. A colossal aura erupted, sending the attackers flying. Ghost Douluo stood protectively next to Bibi Han, surrounded by 9 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black. A title Douluo. Sealed. Voices screamed in terror. "No, don't kill us. We're from the Wuhun Palace." "Idiots," Ghost scoffed, pulling out the Elder's order to prove his identity. "Master Elder?" Everyone's faces turned white. They immediately dropped to their knees, begging for mercy. Ghost Douluo remained impassive. "A bunch of scum, ruining the reputation of the Wuhun Palace. You deserve to die." "Ghost." Ghostly shadows writhed from the ground, reaching for them, trying to drag them down. "Sir Elder, spare us. Please spare us." "Grandpa Ghost, hold up. Killing them like this is too easy. It won't satisfy the people's anger. So, what do you want to do?" "I'll write a letter to Mom first." A few days later, in Gengxin City Square, every member of the Wuhun main hall was bound in iron chains, standing in neat rows, surrounded by the angry citizens of Gengxin City. In the first row stood Miles, whose crimes were beyond measure, along with the former head of the Wuhun main hall, an old, gray-haired man named, also Miles. The second row held Miles's cronies and accomplices, equally guilty. The third and fourth rows were filled with ordinary members of the Wuhun Palace. They may not have committed the same heinous acts, but their silence and failure to report the crimes made them complicit. Bibi Han, now dressed in extravagant clothing, stood surrounded by his entourage. "People of Gengxin City, please, hear me out. I am deeply sorry for the countless atrocities committed by these members of the Wuhun Palace, and the pain they have inflicted upon you. I apologize to you on behalf of the Wuhun Palace." Several people bowed deeply, nearly touching the ground. "These are the women I managed to rescue from the Wuhun Palace, but I know they hurt far more people than these. It is impossible to undo what has been done. I can only offer our deepest condolences. The Wuhun Palace will provide compensation for the damages that were done." Bibi Han bowed again. "As for those in the first and second rows, they will die. You can do whatever you want to them, even using their chains to walk them like dogs. We won't intervene. Don't worry, their powers have been completely sealed. They won't resist. If they get too close to death, we'll heal them and then let you continue to beat them. Let the torture begin." With that, Bibi Han turned and left. The crowd of Gengxin City exploded in fury, a cacophony of rage. "Ah! I will finally avenge you. Miles, you are going to die." The man grabbed a hammer and rushed forward. "Daughter, finally. May your soul finally be at rest. Wife." Countless people swarmed the prisoners, beating them mercilessly, dragging them by their chains. The healing soul masters worked frantically to keep them alive. Bibi Han turned to one of his aides and said, "Take these notes, read out the names, and offer compensation. If there are any omissions, complete the investigation and provide the compensation as well." "Yes, my lord." "Xiaogang, I never thought His Majesty the Pope would actually agree to your plan. Grandpa Ghost, the best way to atone for these offenses is to vent it out of them. By the way, how is Mom doing?" "Her Majesty the Pope has already begun a purge. Her methods are similar to yours. She repays teeth for teeth, and then the heads roll. Her Majesty the Pope has also created an inspection bureau, headed by Ling Yuan, where people can report their concerns." Bibi Han nodded. Women in this world were seen as nothing more than resources. Ling Yuan was the perfect person to oversee this. Chapter 23, Learning Hammer, the Third Gift Pack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Bibi Han went to the center of the Blacksmiths Association, looking for Master Craftsman Lu Gao. Man, who seemed to be named Si Long, approached. He gave Bibi Han's group a complicated look and said, "Please, follow me." After a short walk, they reached a massive door blocking the stairs. Bibi Han couldn't identify the material at first glance. Activating his eye of truth, he saw different colored metals, each with a unique sheen. Silong walked up to the alloy door and knocked rhythmically. Bibi Han noticed that each tap was different in both position and force. A faint mechanical sound came from within the door. A staircase appeared. When the door at the top opened, a short, stout old man stood there. He was barely 5'3", but his waistline was probably the same measurement. He had prominent ears, small eyes, and unkempt, greasy hair. He wore a loose robe, and his chubby face was dusted with what looked like metal powder. He was holding a large hammer, looking intensely focused as he hammered at something he was forging. This friendly-looking old man was Lu Gao, the most skilled blacksmith on the continent. He continued forging, seemingly oblivious to anyone else. Some of Bibi Han's subordinates were getting impatient. Even master craftsmen were still just blacksmiths, and Bibi Han was likely to be the future holy son of the Spirit Hall. They were about to complain, but Bibi Han cut them off. "Hold on. We should respect the spirit of craftsmanship." His subordinates were puzzled, but they remained silent. Bibi Han activated his eye of truth, carefully studying Lu Gao's every movement. He observed how Lu Gao generated force from his calves, used his waist as the axis, and coordinated the power through his thighs, back, and arms, releasing it in a perfect, unified motion. It was flawless, with no wasted energy. After watching several repetitions, he said, "Si Long, could I speak with you outside for a moment?" Si Long was surprised by Bibi Han's respectful tone, but he quickly composed himself and followed, curious about what Bibi Han wanted. Outside, Bibi Han used his blue-silver spirit to create a small hammer and a tree stump. He stepped forward with his left leg, focused the force in his calf, and using his waist as the axis, slammed the hammer into the stump. "Well? What do you think?" he asked Si Long. Si Long was momentarily speechless. "Are you really here to practice hammering?" Si Long thought to himself that he doubted he could do any better with that level of power. "Yeah, this is the first time I've used a hammer like this." "How did you do that?" Si Long asked, astonished. "It's nothing. I just watched Senior Lu Gao forging, and I figured it out." Si Long's eyes widened. "You've got to be kidding me," his expression screamed. Bibi Han's other companions were also surprised. If they knew how difficult those techniques were to master, they'd be floored. Bibi Han switched hands and repeated the action several times. The old man inside was drawn by the sound. He peered out and looked stunned. He stopped forging and beckoned Bibi Han over, leaving the others to wait outside. "Senior Lu Gao, you stopped blacksmithing." Lu Gao looked him up and down, puzzled. "I can't see you as a blacksmith. Still, you've got one hell of a learning curve. Do you really want to learn how to cloak with me?" "Of course. Besides the Haotian sect, you're the only one in the world who knows the ins and outs." "Humph, don't think dealing with those scumbags means the Blacksmiths Association is going to forgive you. If you want me to teach you hammer techniques, forget it. Bibi Han smiled. Then why did you ask me to come in? That he continued seriously, Senior Lu Gao, if you teach me how to cloak, the Spirit Hall will provide an equivalent reward. Humph, I'm not interested in money. I understand. Senior Lu Gao is a forging fanatic. The treasures you create require rare metals. I can help you find them. Lu Gao chuckled. Almost all the rarest metals in the world are shipped to the metal capital. What do you think you can do? That's true. But Senior Lu Gao, you can't always tell which metals are truly rare, can you? I have a trick that can identify treasures, including metals. I can help you find them for free. I'll give you as much rare metal as you can find on the second floor. Bibi Han crossed his arms confidently. Are you serious? Lu Gao was taken aback. Well, I'm here to learn from you. That makes you at least half a teacher to me. Lying to a teacher isn't advisable. Okay. If you collect enough rare metals for me, I'll teach you all the cloaking and hammering skills. You have my word. As Bibi Han turned to leave, Lu Gao stopped him. Wait, I want to ask you something. You must know the status of blacksmiths in this world. Why, that when Bibi Han had first expressed interest in learning hammering, Lu Gao had refused, despite Bibi Han punishing members of the Spirit Hall. But the words of the blacksmith earlier, the uncle who'd questioned Bibi Han's attitude, had prompted Lu Gao to observe him, seeing Bibi Han restrain his subordinates and his remarkable learning ability, and hearing him address Si Long respectfully, Lu Gao had decided to accept him. Blacksmiths don't get rich through unfair means. To me, there's no difference between high and low positions. Being a blacksmith is just a way to make a living. And historically speaking, blacksmiths have been around longer than the Spirit Hall. Lu Gao let out a hearty, grandfatherly laugh. Bibi Han went to the second floor, activated his Eye of Truth, and bought all the shiny metals he could find. At that moment, a voice echoed in his mind, your third gift package has arrived. Rewards are being distributed. A bead appeared in Bibi Han's hand, the Dragon Soul Pill, refined from the essence and blood of ancient dragons. Taking it would greatly strengthen the body and, for some reason, make female dragons, or orcs, unconsciously attracted to you. The physical growth is good, but what the hell is with the female dragon thing? There aren't even any female dragons in the world, and they're just beasts anyway. Ignoring that, Bibi Han found a quiet room to consume the pill. Suddenly, his whole body felt like it was on fire. After half an hour, the effects subsided, and Bibi Han's physical strength had increased significantly. That's right, the elixir made from the blood of an ancient dragon had improved him that much. Bibi Han wanted to curse. What kind of elixir was this system giving him, and how much dragon blood was even in it? Worst Goldfinger ever. Seriously, Chapter 24, Fumbling with Random Cloaks, Little Girl, Choice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, with this many rare metals, I've covered all my expenses for the past few years. Ha ha ha. Lu Gao was as giddy as a kid. For him, nothing beat a good forging session. Okay, Lu Gao seemed a bit sheepish. Just call me Xiaogang, Bibi Han said, seeing right through his awkwardness. Ahem, well, I only know a few hammer techniques. Showing me won't hurt, Bibi Han replied casually, even though Tang Qian invented the chaotic cloak hammer technique, and he was undeniably a monster, Bibi Han doubted he'd come up with it entirely on his own. There had to be influences. Lu Gao took a deep breath and started moving. At first, it seemed no different than usual, legs powering his waist powering his body, and back powering his arms. With a clang, the hammer struck the iron block. As the hammer bounced back, Lu Gao whirled around, still using his calf for leverage. He swung the rebounding hammer in a circle, creating a powerful whoosh, before bringing it down on the iron block with another resounding thud. This blow was not only incredibly fast, but seemed even stronger than the first, and so it went, after the 10th hammer strike, Lu Gao stopped, unsure of what to do next. Bibi Han had been watching every move with intense focus. Despite the chaotic cloak hammer technique's flaws, like the lengthy power buildup and limited maneuverability, it was undeniably a formidable method. He had to give credit to his great-grandfather for creating such a technique, and for mastering the great Sumra hammer. He was a true legend, capable of reaching level 99 and almost becoming a Shura god. Compared to Tang San, who seemed incapable of innovation, Tang Qian was the real deal. Senior Lu Gao, your cloak hammer technique has too many unnecessary motions at the end, preventing you from swinging the 11th hammer. It goes without saying that if someone from the Clear Sky clan taught me, I wouldn't stop at 10 hammers. The forging capabilities of the blacksmiths would. Lu Gao's voice trailed off, tinged with disappointment. Bibi Han tried to reassure him, don't dwell on impossible dreams. That's one of the Clear Sky clan's core techniques. If you learned it, the whole world would probably dissect it. What's the point of calling it a core technique then? I'll give it a shot. He imitated Lu Gao's movements, but stalled after the 4th hammer. What's wrong? Having trouble? The movement was off. My right calf should have moved back 3 centimeters. I lost some power. The calf was too tense, which messed up the power transfer and leg movement. Even though this hammer got a boost, the uneven power would only get worse and make it harder to control later. Lu Gao was stunned. You can feel that? Yeah. Besides feeling it, his Clear Sky hammer martial spirit seemed to be guiding him. What's your plan now? What else? Keep practicing, of course. Before swinging the hammer, Bibi Han scratched his head. Hold on a second. Senior Lu Gao, you should teach me all your hammering techniques. It'll help me explore this further. Later that evening, Bibi Han walked back to the spirit hall, swinging his slightly sore arms. The feeling was pretty good, actually. The soreness would probably vanish overnight with the help of the blue-silver divine martial spirit. Suddenly, Bibi Han felt a tug in his heart and turned toward an alley. At the end stood a young girl with short silver hair. Her face was a bit dusty, and her clothes were worn, but she radiated an undeniable charm. He was drawn to her eyes, and she stared back at him with a strange familiarity. Amethyst eyes and silver eyelashes. Your Highness. Several soul masters materialized beside Bibi Han, wary of the strange girl. Bibi Han commanded, stand down. Your Highness, there's something unusual about this girl. Nothing unusual. The little girl, startled by the sudden appearance of the soul masters, crouched down, covering her head. Bibi Han shot the soul masters a look, ordering them to stay hidden nearby. Don't be scared, little sister. Why are you all alone? Where are your parents? Bibi Han asked gently. The little girl just shook her head. What are your parents' names? I'll help you find them. She shook her head again. Bibi Han frowned slightly. I bet you know your own name. The little girl nodded and said, my name is Nar. Nar, what a lovely name. Wait, did you say your name is Nar? Bibi Han asked, shocked. Nar, startled by his reaction, shrank back. Silver hair. In this scene, this little girl is Silver Dragon King Yuena. Bibi Han was now facing a dilemma. Nar was the most beautiful woman in Douluo, even more so than Xiaogang, but she was also a massive liability. She carried an impossible mission. Once he became a god, Poseidon had to die. Regardless of what Poseidon did to Xiaogang, he had to die. But if he killed Poseidon, the God Realm Committee would intervene. He would inevitably fight them. It was inevitable. And now, Nar was here, already awakened, meaning Yuena would soon be born. If he didn't treat her right, the human race would be doomed. He only wanted to free the oppressed people of this world, but now it seemed he had an entire soul beast clan to save as well. Bibi Han spoke in a soothing tone. Nar, I didn't mean to scare you. Please turn around. Hearing his apology, Nar peeked out and looked at him, still a little frightened. Gollum gollum. Her stomach rumbled, and Nar blushed. I'm hungry. Bibi Han smiled and pulled out some buttered bread from his storage ring. Here, do you want some? Nar sniffed the bread's milky aroma, swallowed hard, but shook her head. Are you afraid I'll poison you? Here, watch. Bibi Han broke off a few pieces and ate them. See? No poison. Come on, eat. Gollum gollum. Is it okay? Nar asked hesitantly. Of course. Let's wipe your hands and face first. Watching Nar eat, Bibi Han smiled. Finished eating, Nar looked at him with new, friendly eyes. That look, the female dragon. It dawned on Bibi Han, the dragon soul pill's physical enhancement wasn't the main thing. Nar was. It meant he was destined to save the Soul Beast clan. Damn Goldfinger. Calming himself, he said, Nar, come with me. Follow you? Nar looked confused. Yes, come with me. I'll take care of you, Bibi Han said gently, his expression sincere. Feeling his kindness, Nar said, okay. Bibi Han took Nar's hand and headed towards the main spirit hall. Your Highness, will this girl cause any problems? No. She's probably just a child abandoned by her parents. The problem? This girl's problem is huge. She's the strongest being on Douluo star. I wonder if Guyu will appear. P.S. Guyu won't appear in this story. Nar will become Yuena after a full recovery. Nar will return to the spirit hall with the protagonist and won't be sensed by the angel statue. Also, Nar's original story has been sealed, so everything that follows will be somewhat different from the original plot, so don't worry about it. Chapter 25 The lovely Na #039, is perfect in hammering skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Returning to the spirit hall, Bibi Han asked a couple of maids to help Nar with a bath. He gently patted Nar on the head. Go get cleaned up, sweetie. Don't worry, they're not going to hurt you. We'll eat together when you're done. Nar, seeing Bibi Han's kind smile, nodded and went with them. As soon as Nar was gone, Ghost Douluo's voice echoed, Xiaogang. Grandpa Ghost, what's up? I checked around Gengxin City, and no one seems to have seen this girl before. It's like she appeared out of nowhere. Bibi Han paused, thinking. I just felt a connection to her when I walked down that alley. Maybe Nar's just an ordinary kid, but I'm sure she means no harm. The ghost, still suspicious, decided to keep an eye on Nar for a while. A little later, Bibi Han was at the table when a maid led Nar in. Bibi Han's eyes lit up. Nar looked stunning in a white dress, her skin was flawless, her features were perfectly balanced, and her rosy cheeks made her look like a little porcelain doll. She was adorable, and she even smelled faintly of flowers. Nar, come sit down and eat, Bibi Han said, waving her over. Nar hesitated. Bibi Han smiled, took her hand, and led her to a seat next to him. He patted her head. I had all this yummy food made just for you, so dig in. Don't be shy. Nar tentatively took a bite, and then so did he. After a hard day's training, they were both starving, and they practically devoured the whole table of food. When they were finished, Bibi Han waved again, and two more people came in carrying a basket of toys. Want to play with these, Nar? I'll show you how. Of course, Bibi Han couldn't spend all his time playing. He still had training to do. Nar nodded eagerly. Oh, by the way, how old are you? She'll be 6 in 3 months. Got it. Asterisk, that's different from what I read online. Asterisk, he thought. Asterisk, both her timeline and her age are off. I just wonder if her spirit will awaken. Star. Alright, Nar, I'm going to go practice. You can play here. If you need anything, just call for someone. Nar nodded again. Bibi Han gave her adorable face another gentle touch, and Nar didn't pull away. Asterisk, she doesn't dislike me. Maybe it's because of the pill I gave her. He went to his secret room and started swinging the heavy hammer again, using the blues-silver domain. When he did, Nar glanced towards the training room. Asterisk, I feel like I've felt this energy before, like it's familiar. From then on, Bibi Han went to Lu Gao every day, practicing hammer techniques under various conditions and using hammers of different sizes. And every day when he returned to the spirit hall, Nar would be there to greet him, offering to massage his aching arms. She was so obedient and thoughtful. It was impossible not to be charmed by her. He initially took her in for the sake of humanity, but now, Bibi Han genuinely cared for her. She was obedient, sensible, and beautiful. Even Grandpa Go started to let his guard down around Nar because she was so sweet. 3 months later, Bibi Han had mastered all kinds of power-generating techniques and various ways to swing the hammer in different positions. He had now mastered the random cloak hammer technique with 49 swings. He knew the path ahead and just needed to keep practicing. He had even helped Lu Gao increase his random cloak hammer technique to 20 swings. Bibi Han didn't want to teach him more because he was afraid that people from the Clear Sky School would find out and try to assassinate Lu Gao. I wonder how long it took my great-grandfather Tang Qian to create this hammer technique. Alright, Xiaogang, you're a fast learner. It took me years to use that technique fluently. I had a great teacher. Douluo continent can only have one master, but there can be many teachers. Ha ha ha. Lu Gao laughed. Teacher, I need to get going. If any scumbags like Miles show up at the Spirit Hall, you have to report them to the Inspector Hall right away. I know, Lu Gao said, sounding a little sad. Oh, before I go, I wanted to ask you a favor. Name it. If I can help, I will, Lu Gao said cheerfully. It might require some rare ores. Bibi Han hesitated. Don't be shy. I have more rare ores than I can use in my lifetime. Lu Gao's eyes gleamed, looking at the piles of rare ores next to him. I want you to make me a set of stretchable clothing, like your 8 treasures Rui soft armor, but I need it to be heavier, say, around 800 pounds. That's it? No problem. If you're planning to use that outfit for training, should warn you, 800 pounds is heavy. Be careful not to get crushed. Don't worry, I'll be fine. It's just the weight of 8/5 of the Clear Sky Hammer. If possible, I'd like to divide the 800 pounds between shoes, clothes, and bracelets. You're really pushing yourself, huh? Alright, come get it in a few days. See you soon, teacher. After saying goodbye, Bibi Han returned to the Spirit Hall. Tomorrow was the day for Nar to awaken her spirit. I wonder if she will. That he opened the door and found Nar waiting for him. Big brother. Nar called out. You're back so early today. How did you know? Because I recognized your footsteps, and because you have a special smell about you. A smell. The nature-like essence from the blue-silver domain, star. Alright, Nar, I'm not going to train today. I'll play with you. Yay! Nar cheered. The next day, Bibi Han brought Nar to the awakening hall. Stand in the awakening formation, Nar, and awaken your spirit. Nar nodded and stepped forward. Will her spirit awaken? Doesn't matter. If not, I'll just take her back anyway. I'm sure Mom will love her. Then, in another 2 years, the silver dragon spear will appear, and I won't have to worry about anything. Chapter 26 Silver Dragon Spear, Return to Wuhun Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, let's get started, Bibi Han said to the Soul Sect members who had gathered. Bibi Han studied Nar's right hand, and a silver spear materialized. It was slender, a little over 2 feet long, and covered in delicate, hexagonal silver scales. The spear had a point at one end that made up about 1/3 of its length. The tip tapered to a sharp point with 12 grooves running along its length. The silver dragon spear, a martial soul worthy of a god king. If Nar truly unlocked its full potential, she'd be unstoppable in Douluo. Big brother, I awakened my martial soul. Nar exclaimed, turning to him with a bright smile. Great! Let's test your soul power, Bibi Han replied, smiling back. The moment Nar placed her hand on the crystal ball, it exploded. Everyone present, except for Bibi Han, was stunned. Seeing their reactions, Nar looked up at him, a little scared. Big brother? Everyone, get out. And remember, not a word about what happened here. Understand? Bibi Han warned. Ghost Douluo then unleashed his martial spirit, displaying 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black soul rings, his title Douluo aura reinforcing Bibi Han's threat. They nodded quickly, scrambling out the door and closing it behind them. Don't worry, Nar. You actually did a good thing, Bibi Han reassured her. A good thing? Nar blinked, confused. Breaking things was never considered a good thing. Don't sweat it. Let's try this, Bibi Han said, pulling out another crystal ball, one capable of measuring soul power up to level 30. A God King level martial soul, I wonder if it'll even register on this thing. Nar touched the crystal ball, and it instantly lit up. Level 20. Another innate genius with full soul power. Ghost Douluo was floored. Xiaogang had randomly brought home a girl who was born with level 20 soul power, wait, Xiaogang said he felt something at that time. Could this be why, You're amazing, Nar, Bibi Han gently touched Nar's cheek. Level 20 was shocking, but honestly, even if she had less, he wouldn't care. He'd happily deal with Qian Daolu and anyone else who caused trouble. Let's go, Nar. Big brother's gonna take you to have some fun. Xiaogang, what about your training? Ghost Douluo asked. Grandpa Ghost, take a few days off. It's no big deal. A few days later, Bibi Han's custom training gear finally arrived. Ha, Xiaogang. This is my masterpiece. And this color scheme is just for you. It was an exquisite blue windbreaker with golden patterns, matching blue and gold shoes, and a pair of blue and gold bracelets. It definitely complemented his hair. Thank you, teacher. Bibi Han said, excited. He immediately put them on. The windbreaker weighed 1,100 pounds, each shoe weighed 220 pounds, and each bracelet weighed 110 pounds. It brought back memories of his intense training with Master Golden Crocodile. Bibi Han had absorbed 3 soul rings, significantly improving his physical strength. The weight felt just right. Plus, the metal was designed to adjust to his height, so he wouldn't outgrow them. Will wearing these affect my height? Bibi Han wasn't worried. Tang San, who trained under a waterfall and only ate fruit, still grew to over 6 feet tall. There was no reason he couldn't grow taller. And if all else failed, he could always absorb a few more 10,000-year soul rings. After thanking teacher Lu Gao, Bibi Han returned to the spirit hall. Nar, seeing Bibi Han's new outfit, gasped, "Wow, big brother, you look so cool." Nar, you have excellent taste. Xiaogang, why the change of clothes? Ghost Douluo asked. I had teacher Lu Gao make them. They weigh about 1,750 pounds, which helps me train, and the clothes' defenses can withstand the attack power of a soul emperor. Is that so? Lu Gao is truly something else. Grandpa Ghost, Lu Gao is my teacher. Bibi Han wasn't a fan of Grandpa Ghost calling him by his first name. He, Ghost Douluo chuckled. Bibi Han and Nar hopped into the carriage and headed home. They hadn't seen his mother in 3 months and were eager to see how she was doing. Arriving at the entrance to the Pope's palace, Nar clutched Bibi Han's hand nervously. The Pope's palace was imposing. Don't be scared, Nar. I'm taking you to see my mother. She's really nice. He opened the door to find Bibi Dong sitting on the papal throne, wearing her regal papal robes. Bibi Han led Nar forward and bowed to his mother. Mom, I'm back. Bibi Dong nodded warmly. Have you learned all the techniques for wielding a hammer? Yeah. Then she turned to Nar, still clutching his hand. Honor, so this is the little girl. Nar was clearly intimidated by her mother's presence and hid behind him. Bibi Han couldn't help but chuckle. If Nar regains her memories later, will she be mortified by her behavior today? Nar, don't be afraid. She's my mother, Bibi Han said softly, reassuring her. Bibi Dong stepped down from the throne and looked at Nar. Sweetheart, don't be scared. Release your martial soul and show me. Nar, do as she says. Obeying Bibi Han's instructions, Nara released her martial soul, the silver dragon spear. Well, very good. Another god-level martial soul. Nar, would you like to become my disciple? Bibi Dong asked, her voice full of excitement. Bibi Dong had been considering taking a disciple for a while. Originally, she was interested in Liena from Spirit Hall Academy, who had an innate soul power of 9.7. But then, Bibi Han came along and showed off his innate soul power of 20, plus twin martial souls. The difference was so vast that Bibi Dong was concerned about how it would affect her future disciple's mindset, so she decided against it. But since she didn't know how to train the clear sky hammer, she couldn't teach him. She could only rely on golden crocodile Douluo. Now, another genius had appeared, born with level 20 soul power. If she didn't take her in, she'd regret it. And as for her not knowing how to train a spear-type martial soul, that was nonsense. There were plenty of gun-wielding spirit masters in Spirit Hall. She had even learned a thing or two about it when she was younger. As for the hammer wielders, almost all of them had joined the Clear Sky sect. Nar, please accept, Bibi Han urged. My mother is one of the best teachers in the entire continent. After a moment, Nar spoke up. Nar is honored to be your disciple. Wonderful. You're my only disciple. Bibi Dong said, beaming. Hearing the word only, Bibi Han breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed like it was for the best that Liena didn't become his mother's disciple. Chapter 27 Wuhun Palace is short of money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Honor, why don't you show Nar around and get her settled? I've still got a few things to take care of. Seeing her mother's tired face, Bibi Han offered, Mom, I can help with anything. Even if I don't understand it, I can summarize the main points for you so you don't have to read everything yourself. It's nothing, really. It's just the spirit halls facing a bit of a budget crunch. A budget crunch? Bibi Han was surprised. The Spirit Hall is the oldest and most powerful organization. How can it be short on cash? Now that his mother had confided in him, Bibi Han immediately understood. The Spirit Hall had expanded too rapidly. They used to have spirit branch halls only in major cities, but now they're everywhere. This has caused the number of spirit masters to explode, increasing the subsidies they have to pay out. What's more and more spirit masters are joining the Spirit Hall. Every spirit master needs to eat and get a salary, but the two empires haven't increased their funding. The Spirit Hall's current income just isn't enough to cover it all. Bibi Han had some ideas. Mom, when I was in Gengxin City, I saw a lot of spirit masters who were just taking the money and doing nothing. You cleaned up people like Miles, but there are bound to be other corrupt types. We can start there. Find those guys who are just collecting a paycheck for doing nothing and then kick them to the curb. That's a good start, but it's not a long-term solution. What would they do after dealing with the corrupt individuals? The core problem would still be there. Too many people were receiving Spirit Master subsidies. Mom, you could also focus on the people who receive those subsidies. If they're actually using the money to train, that's one thing. But a lot of them are just using it to eat, drink, and be merry. The Spirit Masters in the smaller branch halls don't have much talent, so they're usually free. Why not have them investigate the daily lives of the Spirit Masters receiving subsidies? Anyone using the subsidy to eat, drink, gamble, or chase women gets blacklisted. They lose their subsidies. You could also set an age limit for receiving subsidies, which will give them more motivation to train. 0.1 gold soul coin is enough to support a civilian family for 6 months. Spirit Masters get 100 a month, an income that ordinary families can only dream of. Being a Spirit Master is prestigious, but what they want is their hard work and diligent training. Bibi Dong's eyes lit up. That's a great idea. Then, chuckled, how did I not think of that? Yeah, Mom, that idea alone would go a long way toward solving the problem. All 7 levels of Spirit Masters in the world were under the Spirit Hall's umbrella, and the number who would get blacklisted from that group would be significant, of course. Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun, as well as Yu Xiaogang, who was essentially mooching off Notting College and treating his Spirit Hall subsidy as a personal savings account. Well, karma's a beast, and whether Ma Hongjun would have any complaints. Do you think someone who wants to chase every pretty girl he sees is going to dedicate himself to hard training? If you're so exhausted you can barely stand, the last thing you'll be thinking about is chasing skirts. Next, Bibi Han showed Nar around the Pope's palace, and then led her to the back hall. Nar, your room is right here. Mom's room is next door. My older brother's room is just around that corner, about 10 meters ahead. Got it? Yes, Nar understands. Then Bibi Han went to the worship hall to meet Master Jean Crocodile and Qian Renshue's grandfather, Qian Douluo, the biggest shut-in on Douluo. Back in her room, Bibi Han kept thinking about how to make some money. According to the original story, her mother eventually solved the problem, but who would ever say no to more money? Thinking about the original story, Bibi Han suddenly had an idea. She remembered that Holy Soul Village sold vegetables well because of its location. Meaning, selling produce in other places must be tough, and Dai Mubai, when he first met Tang San, they got into a fight at the Rose Hotel, and he even boasted that he would pick up the tab. If someone who had no money but who was stronger than him, wouldn't that mean he wouldn't lose money? You have an idea, Dai Mubai, you are really valuable. What do people want most? For women, it's probably beauty, but I don't know anything about beauty products. For men, it's probably in that area. No, that won't work. If those nobles get their hands on something like that, it'd only make things worse for women. Delicious food is the answer, and hot pot is the perfect choice. The seasoning doesn't require as much skill as those unique delicacies, but it's simple and cheap, and also, the next day, Bibi Han went to the Pope's palace and told her mother her ideas. Mom, we can charge restaurants protection money. If spirit masters come to make trouble, we subdue them and make them pay double. I bet most restaurants will agree. And we're being reasonable, so we don't have to worry about public criticism. And these, milk tea and instant noodles. Who could resist the temptation of these delicacies? Instant noodles are just ordinary noodles that are made delicious by boiling water and seasonings. They are not as portable and delicious as dry food. There is also milk tea, which is the favorite drink of most women in China. Honor, I really don't know how you come up with these things. Her mother looked at the milk tea and instant noodles she had finished, looking very happy. She seemed to see gold soul coins flying towards them. Mom, we need to differentiate the packaging. For the guys with a little money, they should get exquisite packaging and write exclusively for nobles on it. Don't those nobles just want to save face? They think they're hot stuff and see commoners as beneath them. So what if we pander to that a little? If normal milk tea sells for 5 copper soul coins, then milk tea exclusively for nobles sells for 5 gold soul coins. That's 1,000 times more. All we have to do is add a few more condiments to make it taste a little better. They'll definitely buy it. Also, we need to secure the copyright. Only we can sell it. If anyone else tries, they come straight to you and ask for compensation. And so on. I'm going to come up with a few more versions. I'll keep thinking. Pickled cabbage, pepper steak. Honor, when you finish, Mom will prepare a gift for you. A soul bone. Bibi Han's eyes lit up. You'll see when the time comes. Her mother smiled mysteriously. Chapter 28 Going to School. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 days later, Bibi Han skipped sleep and meals to whip up over 10 kinds of instant noodles and a bunch of milk tea flavors for his mom. These Wuhun Palace goodies became a craze across the continent as soon as they hit the market, and the money rolled in. Even if those clueless nobles knew milk tea and instant noodles weren't exactly rocket science, they wouldn't be caught dead buying the regular stuff. Yeah, makes sense. When you're rich and entitled, you gotta keep up appearances. Meanwhile, some soul masters were struggling hard without that soul master stipend, like Yu Xiaogang over at Notting College. He went to the Wuhun branch hall, all excited to collect his check, only to be told he was too old to qualify. Ouch, and our local playboy, the poor guy lamented, without those gold soul coins, how am I gonna hit the Gulan district? Seriously. How old are you to be chasing after girls at such a young age? Tons of lazy Wuhun Palace employees were shown the door, while hard-working guys like our man Tao got promoted. Suddenly, soul masters all over the place were bad-mouthing Wuhun Palace, but who cared? The employees who stayed kept singing its praises, promising to work their tails off for a raise. Even the vendors who couldn't sell their veggies and the restaurant owners who kept getting ripped off were suddenly big Wuhun Palace fans. The main thing was, Wuhun Palace's foundation was solid as a rock, and it was only getting stronger. Mom, I think we've got the problem solved, Bibihan said, checking out his mom looking relaxed and content. Yep, all done. I can finally chill for a bit. So, what about my reward? I just made a huge contribution, so I'm expecting something awesome. You got it, she said, handing him 2 sheets of paper. Here's your prize. Bibihan was speechless staring at the papers. They were Martial Soul Academy admission notices, and one had his name on it. Seriously? You're kidding me. Bibihan, looking bummed, asked, Mom, are you sure? I still need to go to school. And this is supposed to be a reward? Exactly, Honor. Sure, your own strength is super important, but you can't do it alone. Think of school as giving you a normal childhood. Bibihan listened to the first part of her sentence, and the more he thought about it, the more he felt that his mother was just trying to get rid of him. All those top dogs, Haotian, angels, Poseidon, swords, none of them were solo acts, and even Mom needed help. Mom, you know my Haotian divine hammer comes with a thunder domain, right? I can totally dominate team fights with that. In a thunder domain, the enemy's reaction time gets nerfed by 10%, while the user gets a 10% boost to everything, and it only gets better. In this field, Bibihan will be a nightmare to anyone that has to fight him. Just think of it as scoping out your future underlings. So, when do I leave? Tomorrow morning, Mom replied, heading off to see Nar. Damn, my mom's flipped on me big time. Talk about a mentor forgetting their son. Is this even right? What about my reward? The next day, Elder Ju hauled Bibihan off, but not before he said goodbye to his mom and mentor. He wanted to pinch Nar's cheeks, but when she looked all sad and said, Big brother, I'm gonna miss you, he ended up just patting her head on the way. Grandpa Ju, what class am I in? You're going to the golden class, Ju Douluo answered. Golden class, Ju Douluo explained, that's where Wuhun Palace trains its golden generation. The best of the best could end up as saints of Wuhun Palace. Oh, so. Wuhun Palace's chosen one. Bibihan stroked his chin and asked, how long does that take? 3 years, 3 years of training. What? 3 years to become an upperclassman? Come on, Grandpa Ju, let me go back. Bibihan protested, struggling in Ju Douluo's grip. What's the rush? You think His Majesty the Pope would waste your time on something pointless? You're joining the final class, and they're graduating in 6 months. 6 months. Okay, that's doable, Bibihan said, calming down. They arrived at a huge mountain range outside Wuhun Palace, with a massive gate at the foot, emblazoned with Wuhun Palace Academy in bold letters. Bibihan used the eye of truth and saw that he couldn't see the mountains very well, as it must have been covered in an array. At the gate, a middle-aged man in purple robes stood waiting, radiating calm authority. As they landed, the man bowed respectfully. Elder Ju. Carls, I'm leaving Xiaogang in your hands. Carls eyed Bibihan skeptically. This kid can't be more than 9. Seriously? Can't you see greatness? I'm already 5 feet 0 inches, okay, that you couldn't blame Carls for his skepticism. Usually, anyone in Wuhun Palace's golden class was at least 9 years old and a great soul master. In this world, where you were either developing normally, or abnormally, the golden class had a minimum height requirement of 5 feet 3 inches. Xiaogang, hand over your admission letter and info to the dean. This is the dean. Gotta make a good impression. Maybe he'll let me bend the rules a little. Hey, Dean, here's my file, Bibihan said, all politeness, name, Bibihan, soul power, level 35. Wuhun. Soul ring. Age, 7.5 years old. 7.5 years old and level 35? I bet that's a lie. Douluo interjected, the file's legit. Take Xiaogang to the golden class. Carl's now understood for Wuhun. The kid's martial soul must be off the charts. Alright, Xiaogang, come with me. Bye, Grandpa Ju. Douluo felt a chill seeing Bibihan's innocent face. Seeing Bibihan's appearance, the dean breathed a sigh of relief. He wasn't usually like this. There were rumors of beating the son of a titled Douluo elder when he got here, but today's genius was evil, and this name you don't need to think about it to know that it definitely has a great relationship with His Majesty the Pope. Everyone in Wuhun Palace is in awe of the majesty of the Pope. Xiaogang, let me brief you. As a student, you should follow the rules and respect your teachers. Bibihan didn't bother playing nice once they were inside the academy. He didn't have the patience for another lecture. He waved his hand and said, "Don't sweat it, Dean. I respect teachers, but the other stuff. Not so much. Those theory classes are a waste of my time. I won't cause trouble, I probably won't go to some classes, but my grades will be fine. Just point me to the class." The dean was speechless. He decided to send Bibihan's daily report to His Majesty the Pope. He knew his limits. He couldn't teach this prodigy. The golden class was located at the mountain's peak. Chapter 29. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The mountain was tiered, divided into regular, key, elite, and gold classes. The gold class, no doubt, had the prime location, richest spiritual energy, best resources, and most stunning views. Lower class students couldn't access the zones above, but those in higher classes could visit below. Every student dreamed of reaching the gold class, but that glory wasn't permanent. Every 2 months, the academy held competitions. A lower class student who beat someone from a higher class could move up, while the loser got bumped down. After the dean introduced Bibihan to his homeroom teacher, he whispered a few words before leaving. Bibihan noticed the teacher's hands shaking as he held Bibihan's file. The teacher, trying to sound calm, said, "Bibihan, come with me." They walked into the classroom. The teacher nodded to the substitute teacher, then announced, "Class, we have a new student today. This is Bibihan." All eyes turned to Bibihan. Murmurs rippled through the room. "Wow, he's so cute. His skin is so fair. I want to pinch his cheeks. Please. Just another pretty boy. He's way too young, can't be 9. He must have connections." As the whispers spread, the homeroom teacher messaged the substitute teacher, who visibly trembled. While the others were chatting, Bibihan scanned the class, about 30 students in total. His gaze paused on the 3 in the front row. On the left was a guy with fiery red hair and a rebellious attitude. He snorted when he met Bibihan's eyes, then turned to talk to the other 2. The one in the middle was strikingly handsome, with a moon-shaped mark under his right eye. The last one was beautiful, with orange hair and a captivating charm that made her irresistible. But Bibihan just glanced at her and looked away, a clear disgust in his eyes. The author will explain why he hates Liena later. Hopefully, readers who like her won't drop the book because of this. The teacher said, "Bibihan, why don't you introduce yourself?" "My name is Bibihan." After a pause, the teacher asked, "That's it?" Bibihan looked him in the eye and asked, "What else do you expect me to say?" The teacher remembered the info in Bibihan's file. A bead of sweat trickled down his temple. He gave an awkward smile. "Then tell us about your dreams for the future." Bibihan thought for a moment. "The ultimate goal is too ambitious, so I'll start with a small one. I want to be the strongest of the younger generation, so good that I can defeat the second best anytime I want. Except Qian, Renxue and Nar." Whoa! The class erupted. Beat the second best. What about everyone else? Just step all over them. This kid's nuts. I'm gonna kick his butt after class. He's got another thing comin'. That's his small goal. What's the big one then? Invincibility? Someone needs to teach him a lesson. Show him how things really are. Haha, well, that's a good goal, the homeroom and substitute teachers said with forced smiles. They knew it was a realistic goal, given he was only 7.5 years old, and already at level 35, then the homeroom teacher excused himself. Okay, Bibi Han, find an empty seat, the substitute teacher said. Over here. Come sit here. A sweet voice called out. It was Liena, waving and pointing to the seat next to her. As the holy maiden of the spirit hall, Liena was no dummy. Analyzing the teacher's words and actions, she figured out that this Bibi Han was a super genius, and drop-dead gorgeous to boot, exactly her type. Hence, the invitation, no big deal, right? Because of Liena's words, Bibi Han was immediately on the receiving end of death glares from every guy in the class. Liena was their goddess. What right did this little show-off have to get her attention? Ignoring the glares and Liena's invitation, he walked to the back row, to an empty seat where no one sat. Yen shot him a knowing look, but Bibi Han didn't even notice. Bibi Han didn't want to get involved, but that didn't mean he wouldn't act. Some fool stuck his leg in the aisle, trying to trip him. Bibi Han stepped right on it. With the 800 kilograms of training weights he was wearing, it was a miracle he didn't shatter the guy's leg. The guy yelped, his leg turning purple. Bibi Han ignored the glares and strolled to the empty seat. The teacher didn't intervene. It wasn't like Bibi Han started it, the teacher began the lecture. Bibi Han already knew the theories, so he closed his eyes, rested, and started meditating. After class, a group of people surrounded Bibi Han. He opened his eyes and looked at them. One of them said, "Hey, you think you're so tough? You hurt my buddy. You gonna pay up?" "Oh, he's hurt. Too bad. He was asking for it. Don't blame me. Spit it out, I don't have all day," Bibi Han said casually. "Smartass. You're asking for a beatdown, talking to me like that." A fist flew at him. Bibi Han smirked. Without getting up, he grabbed the guy's wrist and kicked him in the stomach. The guy doubled over. Then Bibi Han grabbed his hand and tossed him out the window. The glass shattered as the guy went flying. "Bro. He hit our bro. Get him." Someone roared. 5 or 6 people charged. Bibi Han stood up and rushed toward one of them. He couldn't jump, not with 800 kilos on him. Where would he get the leverage? He took one down with a single punch, then used the Eye of Truth Soul Power Ray on the third one. In 30 seconds, all 5 were on the floor. Clap, clap, a guy with fiery red hair walked up. It was Yen. "Speed, good strength. You interested in hanging out with me?" Bibi Han glanced at Yen, who looked cocky and confident, then asked a classmate, "Excuse me, do we have more lectures?" The guy looked at Bibi Han with some fear and replied, "Yeah, the morning's all lectures. Basic theory, practical theory." "Okay, I get it. What about the afternoon?" Bibi Han asked. "Afternoon's the practical classes." Bibi Han nodded, thinking, "I'll be back this afternoon." Yen got pissed off that he was being ignored. As a Golden Generation candidate, Yen had never been treated like this, except maybe by Liena. With his fire-based spirit, his temper flared. He threw a punch at Bibi Han. Bibi Han casually raised his right hand and blocked Yen's fist, without even flinching. "What?" Yen was surprised. He hadn't gone all out, but it was still a heavy hit. And the kid had just blocked it. Bibi Han grabbed Yen's hand, pulled him forward, and feinted with his left fist. When Yen instinctively blocked, Bibi Han kicked upwards with his left leg, hitting Yen in the chest. Yen was sent flying, hit the ceiling, and crashed down. Knowing Yen was tough, Bibi Han put some power in that kick. Yen lay on the ground, unable to get up. Bibi Han didn't even look back. He walked out of the classroom to find his dorm. Chapter 30 The Unforgivable Person, Liena. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Watching Bibi Han walk away, Liena asked, intrigued, "What do you think of him, bro? He's seriously strong." Xiaoyu replied, a flicker of apprehension in his eyes. He figured he could handle 5 guys without breaking a sweat, but he couldn't have done it as effortlessly as Bibi Han just did. If he'd taken that kick meant for yen, he'd probably be out cold. "Told ya, he's something else," Liena said, her eyes sparkling. Just then, the teacher walked in and took in the scene. 4 or 5 students sprawled on the floor, a chunk of ceiling missing. He exploded, "Who the heck dares to break the rules and fight in my class?" A student piped up timidly, "It was Bibi Han, sir." Hearing the name, and remembering what the head teacher and dean had said in the office, the teacher's anger instantly fizzled. He just sighed, "Right. Where is he now?" He said theory classes are a waste of his time, that he already knows it all. He said he's skipping theory from now on and sticking to practicals, another student explained. The teacher slumped. "Everyone, back to your seats. I'll start the lesson." "So, what's going to happen to Bibi Han, sir?" "None of your business." The teacher snapped, clearly flustered. Liena's curiosity was only piqued further by the teacher's tone and expression. Bibi Han, who are you? With that name, you gotta be the Pope's son, but there hasn't been any gossip about the Pope ever being married. Meanwhile, Bibi Han located his dorm, a single room on the 3rd floor. It was well equipped and had everything he needed. He sat down in a meditative pose and began to focus. A few minutes later, a knock came at the door. Bibi Han frowned slightly. He didn't think he knew anyone here. Who could it be? He opened the door to find Liena. His face instantly hardened. "Shouldn't you be in class?" he asked, his voice icy. "What are you doing here?" Liena batted her eyelashes, replying in a honeyed tone, "Don't be like that. The teacher sent me to tell you to come back to class." Bibi Han scoffed, "Give me a break. That's the lamest excuse I've ever heard. It's been half an hour. If the teacher really wanted me in class, they wouldn't have waited this long, and they wouldn't send you. Tell me what you want, or get lost." Liena twirled around and slipped into Bibi Han's room. Leaning back against the door, hands clasped behind her back, she tilted her head. "You definitely have some pull. I just came by to chat." Liena was practically radiating allure. With her naturally enchanting features and captivating eyes, most guys wouldn't stand a chance. Too bad she picked the wrong guy. Because of what happened between his mother and Xiaoxue, Bibi Han held her in contempt and was immune to her charms. Bibi Han repeated, his voice dangerously low, "Get out. Come on, can't a girl just want to talk? Half the guys in this academy would kill to have my attention, but I'm not interested." Liena pressed her luck. Without another word, Bibi Han grabbed Liena by the collar, hoisted her up, and tossed her out into the hallway. It was a 6-meter drop from the 3rd floor, nothing a soul lord couldn't handle. As he turned to go back inside, Bibi Han paused and snapped his fingers. Suddenly, a patch of blue-silver grass sprouted on the spot where Liena had landed. Still on the ground, Liena stared in disbelief as Bibi Han retreated into his room. She wasn't hurt physically, but her pride was shattered. Covering her face, she ran off, sobbing. Bibi Han didn't feel a shred of sympathy at her cries, nor did he have any doubts about what he'd done. In the original timeline, she's the one who allowed Tang San to get 3 10,000-year spirit rings. If Tang San's 6 rings hadn't been that strong, would Xiaoxue have been able to defeat the combo of Tang San and Xiao Wu? Would the Tiando Palace plot have failed? Would that have become Xiaoxue's inner demon? Even Poseidon acknowledged how much those rings helped Tang San. Without the sacrifice of those 2 forest kings, would Tang San have broken through to title Douluo so early? Would he have been able to fight my mother at Jiaoling Pass? And caused Wuhun Palace to lose so many powerful fighters? You could argue that Liena played the biggest role in the fall of Wuhun Palace. Liena is different from Renxue. She had a solid upbringing, went to the Soul Master Academy, and her values are completely normal. **Qian Renxue was raised by those old geezers and treated like crap by her mother. How could her values not be skewed? If I hadn't shown up, my mother's affection would have been transferred to Liena. She would have enjoyed my mother's care, gotten a good education, used Xiaoshue's resources, and inherited Xiaoshue's position. But what did she do? She betrayed and cheated Wuhun Palace. What's with the line about Tang San shouldn't go to the *Do forest? Like Tang San is an idiot? Why wouldn't he go to the *Do forest? Wouldn't it be better to stay home with his parents? And these 6 titled Douluo, if Tang San really arrived at the *Do forest, wouldn't be able to sense the 7 powerful auras and were besieging the 2 forest kings. When Xiao Wu sacrificed herself, she was tricked by Tang San and still didn't see through him, still simped for him, and then gave him an even bigger gift. According to Wuhun Palace's ironclad rules, any soul master who cheats or colludes with outsiders, causing Wuhun Palace to lose significant profits, deserves to have their entire family executed. If my mother hadn't protected her, she'd have been dead long ago. The most pathetic thing is what happened after Jiaoling Pass. The original novel says she lived in seclusion, neglecting her cultivation, never marrying, and pining for Tang San until she died. At the end of the original timeline, Liena is just a soul saint, only a soul saint, and still controlling. How did she escape from the hands of many powerful soul fighters from the nobles? It doesn't matter. Apart from Xiaoshue using the powerful flying ability of Seraphim to take her away from home, are there any other possibilities? Tang San. Nope, he'll want her dead later. At the time, Tang San was getting married, taking Xiao Wu's first blood, and developing the Tang sect, so he would take care of her. My mother, Bibi Dong, treated her like a daughter. Grandpa Ghost treated her like a granddaughter. Wuhun Palace took her in as an orphan and gave her a perfect home. And in return, her mother dies, Grandpa Ghost is gone, and Wuhun Palace is destroyed. What about her brother, Xiaoyu, who always protected her and doted on her? He was fighting on the front lines when the war started. What do you think the odds are that he made it out alive? Family killed, home destroyed, and the person responsible for it all is Tang San, and she's still pining for him. Besides, Xiaoshue knew that by inheriting the angel bloodline, the angel martial spirit would once again bloom in glory on the mainland, but she didn't reflect on it at all and missed Tang San until her death. Is she pitiful? Sure, but does she deserve forgiveness? My answer is hell no. It's all her own fault. If I could, I'd kill her myself right now. As for why he didn't kill her, it wasn't because Bibi Han was worried about the consequences. A mere Liena was nothing to him. Would his mother kill him over this? It's not Liena in the original novel. The most she could ask about was the reason and she would be punished, and the reason is entirely because these things have not happened yet. That if the original work was true, Ju Douluo should also die, and he would not be called Grandpa Ju. If Liena ever betrays Wuhun Palace, Bibi Han will be the first to take her out. If Xiaoyu tries to stop him, he's going down too. P.S. If you're a Liena fan, please don't come at me. If you insist, I can't stop you. The protagonist is in Wuhun Palace, so naturally he hates traitors. Liena is the ultimate traitor, and she never even repents. If he starts chasing after her just because she's hot, the author has completely lost sight of the point of this story. You'll figure out what the point is later. So, let me be clear, the protagonist will not fall for Liena, and Liena will not die a lonely, lovesick death. A lot of readers don't get why the author is so harsh on Liena, since the events haven't even happened yet, so he shouldn't be so hard on her. The real reason is that Wuhun Palace has been destroyed. Liena still has no repentance and misses Tang San until she dies. The most important point is that Liena went to the Soul Master Academy and was taught by good teachers. 3 views and values have been raised since childhood. After being cultivated, there is no need to correct it at all. Even if Liena did anything to deal with Tang San for Wuhun Palace, it would not be like this. That's why the title is Unforgiven, Liena.